Hi everyone, this is Onur from Needle, and I'm very excited to announce our latest features that we released today. Our MCP server and Needle Web as an MCP client. And yes, you heard that right. We provide both sides of the functionalities. Needle now works both as a server and also as a client, so you can integrate any tool into Needle. So let's get started with the first part. Needle Remote MCP Server. Now our servers are available at this address, mcp.needleai.com. Either in SSE format, you can use SSE transport in order to connect, or what is recommended more is streamable HTTP, which is the future where the MCP is going, so we recommend using this method. And by doing so, you can easily enable semantic search, rack search across all your data very, very easily. Only thing you need to do is to get an API key from Needle, and you can do that in the settings page. You need to add that in the request headers in your request that you make to MCP server Needle. So how can you actually use this? I would like to show you some configuration some of the MCP clients offer, for example, Claude Desktop. So in order to get started, you just need to simply copy this configuration. You can see this in our documentation website. But without further ado, let me show you a real example how that works. Here I have the Claude Desktop installed on my computer. So if I were to go to the settings and then click on developer, edit the configuration, you will see that the settings I have already done previously. I'm specifying the address of the Needle MCP server over here. I am setting my credentials by passing the header, and I can right away start using Needle functionality within Claude Desktop. So I can go ahead and ask, please Claude, list my Needle collections. And just like that, I am able to interact with the Needle API and make it work with any kind of MCP client. So I can go ahead and dive deeper into one of the collections. So I can ask a specific question that can come from a specific collection, and Claude AI will be performing that request for me using the MCP server of Needle. Configure cursor, or you can also use our MCP server programmatically in your favorite programming language. In this particular use case, I am showing how you can use in TypeScript. So what is exactly the benefit of a remote MCP server compared to a local MCP server? I see two kind of major benefits over here. So one of them is that ease of use. So you don't have to set up any kind of tooling in order to get started with MCP. And the second benefit is fully managed MCP servers will be always providing you the latest and most up-to-date functionality. So you wouldn't have to maintain any code, any server yourself. And now let's also talk about what is Needle Web as MCP client. And yes, you heard that right. So Needle also works as an MCP client, which means you can plug any other kind of MCP server into Needle and make these tools accessible within the Needle collections themselves. Let's see an example how that works. So click on new connector over here, and you will realize that now we support a new kind of connector, which is MCP server. You can enable tools from any MCP server using this connector. So let's configure that. You would have to enter the URL of the MCP server. Let's go ahead and use linear MCP server in this case. So I'm going to paste up, and you realize that Needle is able to identify the MCP server, and now it's asking me to authenticate to this server. I give access to the server using the OAuth flow. And just like that, I return back to Needle, and now I can see a preview of the tools that will be enabled in this collection after I complete this connection. So I'm going to go ahead and I will not change the name of this connector, and I'm going to hit click connector. The linear tools are enabled. As you see, now all of the functionality that comes from this linear MCP server, which is fully hosted and fully managed by Linear, now is available in my collection. And now I can go ahead and right away ask what tickets are there in Linear. And as you see, Needle is now performing a function call to this MCP server and fetching the data that I'm asking for. Here we go. We get the answer from the Linear source. And this is only one example. Of course, Linear is just one MCP server. So you can connect any other kind of server, and you would be able to use different kind of tools, build dedicated, specialized assistants, chatbots on a specific topic that you want to work on. And finally, I would like to show you some other examples, some other kind of tools that supports remote MCP servers, just like Linear and Needle does, so that you can get a bit of an inspiration what is possible. Some of these tools are bigger tools like Asana, Intercom, PayPal, and so on. Here there's a very interesting curated list of remote MCP servers. You can take a look at this repository for more information over here. And that concludes my announcement today. I'm very curious to see what you're going to build with it. And see you next time. Bye.